And wrapping up with the bumper edition tonight with our feature interview, Red Bull Racing's F1 driver David Coulthard has practically seen and done it all in the sport. With a 15-year racing career, the 36-year-old has finished as high as second in the World Drivers' Rankings. Now, although he's driven previously for Williams and McLaren, the Scotsman has never won the World Championship. Could 2007 be any different? Well, our man Raj Kumar caught up with Coulthard in Kuala Lumpur last week in an exclusive to get an update of his career.
Well, obviously there's been ups and downs, inevitably, but victories are something that you're here to try and achieve, and I've had the opportunity to do that. And it's a different challenge that I have here at Red Bull, which is to try and help the team develop and go forward, and that means making some harsh decisions at times and changing people and not being scared to make those decisions. So it's definitely a transition for the team, and I think that bit by bit we'll progress.
We spoke to Mark when he was in Singapore, and there was this whole thing about him trying out the proposed street circuit. What do you make of this new element of the possibility of a night race in Formula One?
Well, I think it's an interesting debate, but does it have to be a night race? Why not just have a race in Singapore? Let's start with the basics first, and then if that gets approved, then you can go on to something which, honestly, I don't think changes anything for the racing spectacle. It may make it more comfortable for people watching the race, it may be better for television, but I don't think it changes the essence of what Formula One is.
You're just saying stick to the race itself, because from what we've heard from Mr. Bernie right down to everybody else, they're pushing for a night race in the likes of Singapore and maybe in some other parts of Asia due to cater to the television audience in Europe.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it would be a much easier challenge to start off doing a night race here in Malaysia, because you have a track, you have a facility, all you have to do is put the lights up, whereas Singapore, you don't have a track. You have a proposed track, you have a proposed street circuit, so why try and take two steps when you have to make the first one? Make the circuit, prove that the circuit is up to the standard, and then turn the lights on. So I think that this whole night race thing has become a gimmick to become the hook to bring us to Singapore. Well, if you have a great circuit, then whether you have lights or no lights, whether it's at day or at night, I don't think it changes anything. What does it change to have a night race? You're not going to have lights on the cars. That's not what Formula One is. So I'd be very happy to go to Singapore and have a race, full stop.
The only problem in Singapore is because of the lack of space, and even talk about a race circuit to be built, it's only going to be up to the standards of the Formula 2000. They say it can't handle the F1. So if to come to Singapore, it's got to be a street circuit, and the only other street circuit in the world is Monaco. Would you still be in favor of a second street circuit, and on top of it, the safety precautions involved with the night race? Or your teammate Mark, he was for it.
Well, I'm not saying I'm against it, but I'm just trying to give you a more full answer. If you just want a soundbite, let's go racing at night in Singapore. I'm for it. But meanwhile, you have to consider lots of different things. The FIA are there to determine whether the conditions of the track are safe or not. So I have no doubt that if they give a tick in the box, then it's a safe circuit. I love street circuits, so I would be in favour of having more than street circuits in Formula One. Whether it's a race that has floodlights or whether it's a race that happens during the day, I don't think it changes significantly the commercial value of having that event, is my point. So the only reason to make it a night race would be for some other, marketing type ploy. Let's have an underwater race. Let's have, I don't know, just think of some other gimmick.
Okay. Are you still chasing for the dream to actually be the Formula One world champion someday?
Well, I think that realistically that opportunity is probably come and pass, because it could be several years before the team has the necessary structure and resources to genuinely challenge teams that have been around for years and years, like Ferrari, McLaren and Renault. But then again, with the regulation changes that have happened over the last few years in Formula One, with single engine for 2 events and things like that, then it's not unfeasible to, what's my goal? My goal is race to race and year to year.
Well, that was Raj Kumar talking to Red Bull Racing's F1 driver David Coulthard, talking about F1 and Singapore being the possible next venue on the F1 calendar.